to see things on the moon, which is relatively close, that would give up the ball game?
I believe absolutely so. I mean, on good seeing conditions with a 12.5-inch reflector or a machine that's even a little bit larger, or depending on the model of refractor that you have, watching the moon and recording it. I have a very good friend in Phoenix, a gentleman by the name of Alan. He was a witness to one of these UFOs touching down on the Adamski property, and he may be one of your callers. But he has a very sophisticated telescope system that's hooked up through video through the television, and he watches and photographs it quite diligently, and he has some extremely interesting photographs.
Well, if guys with 12-inch telescopes can do it, then what about the University of Hawaii, where they have a telescope that'll knock your socks right off? I mean, it would eat that 12-incher and not even burp.
Actually, I was a guest in Maui up there to the Air Force Observatory many years ago, and I had to obtain security and DOD clearance for that, and you would be amazed at the photographs they have.
Oh, would I now? But see, this is a private institution, more or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what motive would they have for cooperating with our government in keeping this secret?
Who provides the funding not only to maintain, to construct, and also the funding as far as who gets access to the use of the equipment and for how long? This is, usually the controlling agencies that take care of these instruments.
All right, here they come. First-time caller line, you're on the air with Glenn Steckling. Hello.
Hi, how you doing? I'm hooked on the show already.
Where are you, sir? Where are you?
Chicago, Illinois.
Chicago. Okay, good.
Chicago.
You have a question?
For Glenn. It's really a two-part question. One is what's the possibility of extraterrestrial creatures living amongst us on Earth, going about our day-to-day lives, living amongst them, or them living amongst us? And the second part of the question would be if you've seen the footage of the flying humanoids and your thoughts on that.
Flying humanoids, is that what you said?
Correct. In South America, the flying humanoids.
Okay, all right. Glenn?
Well, the two parts of the question. The first part being the possibility of them living amongst us has been discussed, that they are human beings that come from other planets that come and live and work amongst us for a period of time, sort of like a Peace Corps service. And there's a number of them that help us in specific fields and give us directions in order to overcome certain obstacles. And that's a very real concept. In fact, one that the scientists at NASA at Goddard questioned my father and mother exclusively on. The second part of that is whether I've seen pictures or representations of flying humanoids. No, I haven't, although there is technical devices which help towards the what we consider to be levitation or what they consider to be pro-gravity. So technologically a device in which allows you to float without wings or use of an airplane or whatever is certainly a possibility.
Let's go back to number one. You believe, pinning you to the wall here, that there are extraterrestrials living among us. Do you believe that?
I believe that they circulate amongst us, absolutely.
Is there a way to differentiate, to recognize an extraterrestrial in our population?
Yes, there is.
And that would be?
I would never divulge such an idea, and I would certainly not place them in jeopardy.
Oh, come on.
Well, let's think about it. Think how nice people we are. The first thing we would do is go grab them, dissect them, torture them, put them in jail. I mean, I wouldn't do that.
And so you know the answer to this question. You know how to recognize these, I don't want to say people, but those among us who are not us. You know how to recognize. You actually know how to recognize them.
I would say people because they don't look any different than you and I. Absolutely.
Well, then how do we differentiate? There is a way.
Oh, there is a way to differentiate that.
But you're not telling.
No, I would never do that. I think that would be irresponsible.
Okay. Wildcard line, you're on the air with Glenn Steckling. Hi. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, you're on. This is
I'm
it.
on?
Yes.
Glenn, this is Al, Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, Al, good to talk to you.
Hi. Just a comment for your listening audience. I have a 10-inch telescope with an Astrovid video camera on the eyepiece.
Are you the guy that...
Yeah. The signal goes to a 27-inch television
Yes.
screen. I invite the neighbors over to watch the moon show.
Is this who you were expecting, Glenn? Excuse me.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So you're the guy.
Okay, and
what do you see?
I also videotape what goes on up there.
Understood.
Well, I saw one craft that did a 180-degree turn without ever changing speed. I have seen craft brightly lit with a very dark shadow going right up the terminator of the moon and then doing a 90-degree turn into the sunlit portion, again without changing speed. If people have a scope like this and are patient and watch it on a video, you will see formation flying. These are not Earth satellites.
Okay, so you have videotapes of all this. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have some videotapes of a lot of that act. I do with the 180 degree and one small one shooting across the moon.
What have you done with this video?
Well, I show it to my friends, and I let them have a copy.
Can I be your friend? In other words, I really would like to see what you've captured.
Would you prefer VHS or DVD?
Oh, well, now...
I can send you a DVD, and then that way...
What a nice choice. DVD, I think.
Okay. I can do that.
Can you really?
Yeah. Does Glenn have your address?
Well, you can get it, Al, directly from online. I'd like to remind our listeners that Al is an extremely competent person. He was one of the people in Korea during the military service who witnessed these UFOs in 1950. It's recorded in Captain Rubel's book on the report of unidentified flying saucers. He also witnessed one of them along with several dozen other people landing on the Adamski property momentarily before taking off again. He's a retired aerospace worker with a DoD clearance who has worked on such things as resonance fields and many other different things. So this gentleman knows what he's talking about.
Spacesuit there.
You guys are really buddies, aren't you? Yeah, you're really buddies, aren't you? You know each other quite well, apparently.
We met several years ago.
Met several years ago. I'm 75 years old and I'm an acoustic and vibration engineer specialist. And I've seen so many flying saucers that I was moved to visit George Adamski, and all I can say is, wow, what a nice guy. What a personable person. And honest, he had a 15-inch dome for his 15-inch telescope in his backyard, and I was using his 6-inch telescope that he took the pictures of the flying saucers with. He also offered me his camera, which I didn't use. But one night I saw a blue flash go over behind the dome where the 15-inch scope was, lit up, and there was a flying saucer sitting on the ground. So I headed for it. People from the restaurant, 2 men and 2 women, started screaming there's a flying saucer on the ground.
Yeah.
And one guy came up and almost knocked me down, and he said, there's a UFO on the ground. I said, yes, if you'll please get out of the way. I'll go over and say hello to these folks. There was no fear at that time. So he kind of disappeared. The ship got bright. You could hear it hum. Then the hum disappeared to a higher frequency. It rose straight up until it looked like a star, and then shot due west right over San Diego at a very rapid speed. Flicker fusion of the eyes took place.
Well, you sound very
I went inside
credible.
and I talked to George Adamski about what had happened, and he just looked at me and smiled and almost laughed. He says, well, I was just wondering what all that commotion was outside. And he just kept smiling at me.
I see.
So,
well, all right, I bite. I want a copy of your video.
Okay.
I will. I'll see to it that you get an address. All right. Email me. I'm Art Bell at mindspring.com or artbell at AOL.com. Just send me an email with yourself in the heading, your name or whatever.
Okay.
And we'll rock on from there. All right. Then, do you give permission for what you send to be shared?
As far as I'm concerned, you can share it with anyone you want.
Good enough. Thank you.